Buliwinak, ladies and gentlemen of the media, first of all, please accept my apologies for the delay at the start of this press conference. I'm going to make a short statement, and after which I will take a few questions. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, now I've called this press conference to clarify some of the issues concerning police conduct that have been the subject of scrutiny over the last few days. As Minister for Home Affairs and Immigration, I am responsible to Parliament, to the people, for the conduct of any agency or department under my ministry. And I will not shy away from that responsibility. Let me clarify that the treatment of accused persons by the police is governed by legal frameworks such as the Constitution, the Criminal Procedure Act of 2009, and the Fiji Police Force Standing Orders. These frameworks define the procedures that must be followed by the police when dealing with individuals who are accused of crimes. The Fiji Police Force Standing Orders state, under the section that deals with custody, treatment, and administration of prisoners, at section 46, that, and I quote, male prisoners under arrest for serious offences shall always be handcuffed when under escort, unquote. Obviously, police interpreted that a charge of abuse of office is a serious offence. When Mr. Syed Qayyum was transferred from CID to Tatonga, he was under escort. In addition, for his own safety and because of his medical condition, Mr. Syed Qayyum was not placed at the cell at Tatonga. He spent the night at the Tatonga Police Station's common holding area. My apologies. The police standing orders, of course, are vague. It does not define what are serious crimes and the treatment of those we refer to as high-interest persons. All of these are in the hands of the police to interpret subjectively. As a military person, I know the detrimental effect vague orders have on decision-making, especially in constantly changing environments. We are already in the process of reviewing and changing the laws and the standing orders under which the police operate. We want to update them so that they reflect the coalition government's vision of creating a more professional and compassionate police force. As the Minister, I am aware of any incidents that may have occurred. However, I want to make it clear that I do not have the power to appeal or intervene in the treatment of accused persons unless it is through the issuance of policy directions to the entire police force through the Commissioner of Police. As I have stated before, now I take responsibility as Minister for the actions of the agency under my ministry. However, police commanders and legislators must make clear laws and standard operating procedures where the police officer's discretion is guided by a process and not to exercise discretion subjectively. I want to talk about the condition of our cells. I have been in one for a few nights, some while ago. I visited some of these cells during my tour. They're in a deplorable state, and we must fix this. Given the urgent nature, I am making commitments to make these cells more humane and consistent with our obligations to respect human rights. Regarding Honorable Noporto's statement, I want to emphasize that any individual who feels that their rights as an accused person have been violated has the right to seek legal recourse through the available avenues under the law. If Mr. Syed Qayyum chooses to pursue this route, I will respect and support his decision. Finally, I want to reiterate that I do not monitor or interfere with any investigations that are carried out by the police, even in cases where the accused persons do not share the political views of the coalition government. It is crucial to maintain the rule of law and allow the police to carry out their duties without any political influence or interference. And I thank you. I'll take a few questions. Please just identify where you're from and your question.
Minister Tikoduadua, good morning. Delight here from Fiji Live. Yesterday, the former Prime Minister, Mahendra Chaudhry, called on the proposal of the government in regards to the review of the Immigration Act of 2023 as discriminatory because it allowed Fijians registered under the Volunteer to enjoy the right to enter Fiji or without permits. He's asked that he called on those born in Fiji to be also included. What's your take on the matter?
That is absolutely true, and that was the spirit of the cabinet discussion that ensued. This is a consultation process. Let me assure you, the coalition government is for everyone, not only the Itoke. It's for every ethnic group, every ethnic individual that is here. Okay. I understand the terms on which the review had started, but I must assure our Fijian public and also reassure Honorable Mahendra Chaudhry that this matter also includes the rights of the members of our community who are descendants of the Girmitias. They are also, and I believe that is the spirit of this review, and that is what this is going to come out as at the end. And it is not discriminatory in any way. And I'm sure that they are already taking, submissions to that effect. So I would just like to, to perhaps for the information, Honorable Chaudhry, that is exactly what we are doing. We're looking after the interest of everybody.
Also, Minister, as we approach the final quarter of the financial year for government, and as the budget is coming up, have your ministry begun its submissions to the Ministry of Finance?
Yeah, we have already. We've already got our submissions. Let me tell you, and perhaps at this time, maybe inform the media and the people of Fiji, that we are not in this cabinet sitting, but in the next one. We've done some fair planning and assessment over the last 100 days. We've done some changes, the big decisions that I have made as minister and the ministry at large. But there are many big things to solve. One of these is what I'm giving this press conference today, professionalizing our police force. Okay, that's part of our review that's happening. You would have heard that I have commissioned this this whole review and outlook of the Fiji police force, which is called Restore Blue. I've been saying it everywhere I go. Essentially to professionalize the force, to bring it back to the state in which people had no need to be. And that is to uphold the law and respect the law. And, as I've said in this statement, police force, one of the biggest concerns right now is people believe the indiscretions are based on subjective interpretations of the law. And it's our duty, my duty, is to make sure that the police officers on the ground are subjected as less as possible to a situation where they would have to make a subjective decision. That means host standing orders have to be clearer. That's all part of this review. At least you as a member of the public would know that when you lodge a complaint, this is all the stages it will go through. You know, the police know, that you are kept abreast throughout the whole process until, if it finally concludes successfully and someone is prosecuted for it, then you know that's as far as the police are going. But over time, this has become a very, very subjective process. We witnessed one here today. So what can we do? We can make it better. So this is one of the things that we are doing. So we have already done that. We've made submissions in our budget to accommodate this. Obviously, our partners as well in development are assisting us in this process. So yeah, you will definitely see something coming out, not in this cabinet, but in the next one.
Thank you, sir. Just the Human Rights and Anti-Discrimination Commission has called for police to avoid taking people into custody on Fridays and the weekends. What's your thought on that? Because there is no access to courts and legal and private lawyers.
It's as Minister Ram said, the processes of the police, you can't tell the police do not arrest somebody. If a crime happens in the weekend, a crime happens in the weekend. If it's for the safety of the public or for the safety of the person, that he has to be taken for protection, then that would happen. I'm not sure, the thinking behind that. But, usually some offenses like, drug and disorderly and all that, if they are done, they present them in the morning on Monday. On these cases, I believe there were this case of Mr. Kayum and also probably the case of Mr. Frank Bainimaram and Commissioner Gilio. They came in, on the very last night. They got charged, presented to court the next morning. So that's that really is the intent. I am very big on human rights and treating people humanely. If some things I've been saying, we try to make the police be less subjective about the decisions they make. So the laws have to be a little bit clearer on certain matters like this. So taking people over the weekend, has to be really by necessity. But really should consider what is the best interest of the public and of the person that has been taken in.
Mr. Tikoduadua, you spoke about abuse of office as a serious offense. I would like to take you back to Gilio's and Bainimarama's when they were charged. They were taken in, but they weren't cuffed. Why? Just difference in treatment. Why?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, I think here what has happened there and here is a subjective interpretation of of the law. That is, the standing orders are the basis on which, as I've already mentioned, where someone is taken under escort. Okay. It has lacked so much that this needs to be harmonized. The procedures have to be properly put in place, re-educated. It's all part of the review. I've said about this that much of our complaints, a lot at the moment, is people are concerned that police treat different or like similar cases differently. If you put procedures down and everyone is trained on it and mentored on it, then at least there is a higher degree of accountability on the part of the police to make sure to follow it. And if they do not follow it, then they get subjected to it. So that is what I would put it to, so in terms of how it was applied by those that were handling them on the day.
Mr. Tikoduadua, earlier this year, the Prime Minister had actually announced of the government's decision to withdraw the deal, the policing deal with China. There hasn't been any clear reasons as to why the government has chosen to do this. As the Minister for Home Affairs, your comments on the reason of why we have chosen to do this and what consequences does it have
Thank you.
on the relationship with the Republic of China?
Thank you. The political intention of the government is to review our defense association with everybody, not only China, including those of our traditional partners. I've already said that. That's no big deal. There's no big secrecy about it. In our understanding, that is the memorandum of understanding that was signed in China in 2012, gives either party, if they want to review it, 6 months to notify the other party. I have done that. I'm waiting for the 6 months to happen, where we will then now sit again and review the terms of our understanding on how we deal with defense. We're a new government. We've just come into place. There are different things we want to do differently. And reviewing these agreements that were done previously by other governments, looking at our own priorities and how we want to view security in our region, particularly here. Last question.
So just a follow-up to my colleague's question with regards to the...
Which colleague?
Inoki.
Enoch, yeah, sure.
Yes, just with regards to the termination of the agreement. The
There
Chinese...
is no termination of agreement, my dear.
Okay.
There is no termination of agreement. The terms are, the agreement makes an allowances of an understanding between China and Fiji. Okay? In the same understanding, we have to give each other 6 months to do that. We want to review it. Yeah. We want to review the terms that governs, the relationship between government of China and Fiji with regards to security. That's what we're doing. We're following the process. When that comes, we will decide what comes out of it, because it's a bilateral process between them and us. Yeah.
So my question is based on that, because the way the Chinese embassy has put it to us is that the government had terminated the MOU. So my question, sir, the embassy is actually calling on the government to actually look through the ideological prejudice and view the law enforcement and police cooperation between China and Fiji more objectively.
I think what I'm saying, given that they have made, I haven't heard it. I read something along social media or something. All I'm going to say to the government, and particularly the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, is to take the content of the letter that I wrote. I'm the line minister for it. I've sought the discretion of the Prime Minister, and I've written according to what we had agreed. So there's 6 months in between. And if you read the last line on the letter that I wrote, it's for us then to review how our positions are going forward. No one is talking on termination. Wherever that came from, I don't know. Do you know? You must probably know better. I don't.
Yes, sir. We actually had the questions sent to them. So with regards to the agreements, are we also doing that with our traditional partners in terms of
We do. We have status of horses agreement everywhere. We are re-signing with the Kiwis when the defense minister comes around in a few days or a few weeks.
No person arrested may be subjected to more restraint than is necessary to prevent escape. So in the case with Mr. Said Kayum, was he perceived as a threat, or were there threats to him?
Today I'm discussing the subjectivity of the law. How do you rate someone like Aya Said Kayum? Like I said, he's being alleged to have committed a serious offense. How do you assess that? The law's not clear. The thing I'm saying, as far as the police officer is concerned, and to make sure there is no misinterpretation, the military, the police is like the military. We like orders, standard operating, specified orders. And something needs to happen because that is the law, this needs to happen. That's not here. That's why people apply the law under their own discretion. Okay? Police are police, they are not lawyers. So, point I'm making, I'm calling on lawmakers and people that write standing orders for the police commanders. Define this law so that our police people on the ground do not have to be subjected, to making their discretion subjectively on what they believe at the time. That has to be a little bit more clearer. So then that would also apply there in this regard. Okay? Because that's important really,
And so questions also raised in regards to that. if this was vindictiveness from the police, putting him in handcuffs, and most probably making him an example going forward.
No, that is absolutely not true. That is absolutely not true. So I'll be very interested in that. That's coming from who?
This is coming from the ground. People are asking.
God, what ground? Mangele, say that.
These are the questions that we were asked.
Yeah. No, let me assure you, let me assure the people of Fiji that there is no vindictiveness, you know. Like I said, I am the minister responsible. I don't take part in that. The standing orders of the police force standing order states this. The law, as you've said, stated this. The discretion is of the person there on the ground. We who make the law and those that make the decisions must make sure, for clarity, that certain these things are taken into place so that it protects everybody and at least, you know, look after our police people who have to look after us too. Right. You guys will have a nice weekend.